This is where the Old Testament really comes to play for me, at least. After I read Revelations and I went back to the Old Testament, yeah, that's when everything started making sense to me. Hey, Cain and Abel was no longer just Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel was reminding me of something that Jesus did. Cain and Abel was pointing me to, I don't know, one was had a Pharisee or typical human behavior, and the other one was Jesus, who had a very pure heart for God. Like, you start seeing the parallels between the Old Testament and the New Testament after and only after you have finished reading the New Testament. Look, Joseph being sold by his brothers. I read that story, I'm like, whoa. You start seeing Jesus in everything. You start seeing Jesus in Noah. You start seeing Jesus in Abraham. You start seeing Jesus in David. You start seeing Jesus in the prophets. Like, they're all talking about this person. And I wonder, how did they miss this? The people who live with Jesus, how did they miss this? Because me that I'm reading this story many, many, many years ago, well, I do have a compilation. But yo, he was an embodiment of the Old Testament. And you will never know, if you start reading the Old Testament, you will never know that descendants of Cain, human wickedness, the end of the flood. Like, you will never know even what it's all about. So this is why I say that read the New Testament before you read the Old. Not that the New Testament is better or more interesting or more fascinating, but it helps you to understand that Jesus is the center of the scripture. Everything that's in this book is centered on him. So if you don't understand who he is and what he has done, those stories will only be stories to you. Enjoyed this? Watch the full video on YouTube at The Ripe Podcast and subscribe for more exciting Christian content.